Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome everyone on this another module, that is module 3 that we'll be discussing today. Okay, it is on drug awareness. Okay, yes, basic drug education information. That's what we will be seeing. Okay, so let me just do all the settings. Yes, everything is fine. Everything is working. All 63 members have joined as of. Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay. So let's start with our session. Okay, so this is the most important session, and we are starting with our basic drug education information, the reason why you all are here for. Okay, first two sessions we have done on life skills. Some of you are new and few of you are new and who have just joined. Okay, so don't worry upon that part. Those life skill sessions we have covered so far. Okay, and we will be covering in the next modules also some life skill sessions. So you will be going through that. Anyhow, you are joined for the drug education program. So here we start the module 3. Okay, that is the basic drug education information. Here some of the information is repeated that we have already done during our first session. Okay, so just let me, yeah, back. Okay, so module 3, basic drug education information, that is part 1. Okay, so what are the objectives here? By the end of this session, students will be able to understand what are drugs, the difference between licit drugs and illicit drugs, and be aware of 3 main categories of psychoactive drugs. Okay, to have a second objective is to have a general understanding about alcohol and short-term and long-term effects. Okay, third is to have a general understanding about tobacco and short-term and its long-term effects. And fourth objective is to have a general understanding about volatile substances, okay, that is inhalants, and the short-term effects of those and even the long-term effects of those. Okay. So what are the additional materials required for the teachers? Okay. So those who have just joined, okay, they haven't attended or missed on the first sessions. Let me tell you that all this education, all these modules are based on such a program that you don't require a presentation at all. You just need to take the printouts, and these are the materials, those are required with you. Okay, so once you go through these videos, you will understand, and the practical videos also, you will understand how easy it is, that you are not required, you're not supposed to have give any presentation. The reason behind that is that every school, every college, junior college doesn't have the liberty to have a proper projector, and there may be some issues. Okay, if even if they are having, the power may not be there, or internet may not be there, or those kinds of things will be there. Okay, so nothing to worry about. You don't require a presentation for this, and that is the beauty of this program. Okay, so it is an interactive session. Okay, so it is not a one-side session that we give, a one-side awareness program. Only the speaker is speaking. It is not like that. It is like an interactive method. Okay, so that is the beauty of this program. So what all you are required? You are required certain materials. Okay, those are mentioned here, like pieces of small and large pens or pencils, crayons, okay, marking pens, white sheets of paper, tape, and pins to display participants, group presentations. This is presentations if required. Okay, and the advanced preparation required for the teacher is, if you feel there is too much to write up on the board, prepare in advance. Okay, so either you can have those charts already prepared, what are required, or you can have ready-made charts if those are, like, if you are already available, or you can print those charts. Those are, we are given in the annexure. Okay, I believe everyone has downloaded the manuals, the PDFs of both the modules, part 1 and part 2. So then it is very easy for you to understand. Okay, and writing up some sections of information test on large pieces of paper. These can be taped on the wall or board when required and appropriate. The information text on large pieces of paper can be kept and used again multiple times when the same session is conducted again and again. Okay, so this is what it is. Next, the note for the teacher. Okay, know about the questions asked during the drug quiz. so that some information from this module is given specific emphasis to assist the students to answer the questions correctly. Okay, so give a special emphasis on the quiz. You understand like what this quiz is, and so you will be prepared, like what answers, what answers are to be given, and those two correctly. Okay, so first session, what are drugs? So the teacher needs to inform the school teacher that sometimes children and adults do become unhealthy, and sometimes there is a need to intervene by giving the person drugs to make them better, recover, or to be healthy once again. To fully understand the topic of drugs, school children need to be educated on what are drugs. They can affect the body, the different types of drugs based on classification. Okay, and the need to understand the basic drug difference between illicit drugs and licit drugs, that is illegal drugs and legal drugs. Okay, so this module will also include information about tobacco, alcohol, and volatile solvents. The teacher requests the students to write in their school books as how they would define or explain to another person, friend, family member, etc., what is drug. Okay, so this is what the first session is going to be. Okay, I believe I'm audible. Can you just put a quick yes? Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. So what is drugs? The first session. You can see here 3 minutes are given. On the right-hand side corner, you can see the watch, the timer is given, like how till what time the session needs to be there. Okay. The teacher requests the student to share some of the ideas or thought as to how they define drugs. Okay, so can you please define drugs? What is drugs as per you? Okay, let me go back. Yes, can you please define what is drugs? Yes, please, in your own words. Yes, yes, come on. Though we have done it in the first. Yes, can you please define? So you need to tell them, like you need to get certain answers like this. Yes, this is module 1. Yeah. Mood altering substance, addiction of a substance. Okay, drugs are harmful chemicals that affect our brain. Okay, drugs are just like medicines. Okay, substances which give excitement. Okay, what else? Come on. Drug is a substance having psychotic, a substance which can have consume makes you feel better or drowsy. Drugs are substances that makes us avoid difficult situations. Medicines. Okay, some are good. Okay, something that changes our activities. Well, let me tell you, all of your answers are correct. Okay, so this is what we need to tell the children as well. Okay, that everyone may be on the same line because the meaning is same, but we need to tell them what we need to tell them when the once they have given all these answers. Okay, you can write those on the board. Okay, answers stated by students, and there are no new theme or repeat or other answers. So like no new answers, like, we need to get continuous new answers. Okay, no new no repetitions should be there. Okay, so like someone will say like drug, medicine, so medicine once bol diya, theek hai, now you just need to go to the next. So likewise you need to write it on the board. When the activity is complete, teacher writes on the board and has it written up in advance on a large piece of paper to be placed the World Health Organization WHO definition of drug. Okay, so what is drug? A drug is a substance except food and water which when taken into the body changes the way the body works and can change our mood or thinking process. So this is the definition of a drug by WHO, that is World Health Organization. Okay, understood everyone? So this definition either we need to have in a properly written already, okay, and you can just have it on a paper and just hide it. Okay, later on you can show or you can write it at that time. Okay, suppose if you want to save time, you can just have it written and you can just show it. It's like that. Okay, so the teacher should highlight any similarities between the WHO definition and those expressed by the students. So many of you said that it changes your mood. Okay, so you were correct. Okay, someone says that it is a medicine. Okay, so you can say like if you take even anything other than except food and water, that is drug. actually. Okay, so that is the definition of by the WHO. So this definition we need to tell them. Yes, got it, everyone clear? So this is how we write the first session. Okay, you write it on the board, drugs, okay, and then you continue all those things. Clear? Okay. So before the session commences, the teacher should ask the students on to gently tap on the part of the body. Okay, so this is the next session. The activity time is 10 minutes. Okay, so what you need to do is that the teacher asks to tap on their body like this, head. Okay, so what your parts those are? On the body where they believe the brain can be found. Okay, yours. And on the next. Okay, so before the session commences, the teacher should ask the students to gently tap on the part of the body where they believe the brain can be found. So they will tap like this. Okay, so then ask the students to point out where the body spinal cord in the body the spinal cord is. So they will tap at the back. Okay, spinal cord. Teacher highlights that knowing these parts of the body is important as it is in those areas where the drugs have their effect on the body, mood, and thinking. Okay, understood? So there are two main parts, that is brain and the spinal cord. So these are the parts of the body where it affects. So you need to tell the students to tap those bodies. So what is happening here? Actually, you are making them aware. Okay, so here it harms. Okay, I'm just giving you a lecture, you will understanding, you will forget it. But once you are making them understand like this in an interactive way, makes a proper long-term effect on their mind. Okay. The teacher should explain the classification of drugs which physically and psychologically, that is the mind and the emotions affect the person, are called psychotic drugs. So why those are called psychotic drugs? Because it physically and psychologically, that is, it affects the mind and the emotions. That is the reason they are called as psychotic drugs. The teacher is recommended to write up in advance on a large piece of paper for display the following information. That is psychotic following message, that is psychotic drugs. Psychotic drugs affect a person's central nervous system. So they must be knowing like central nervous system is made up of brain and spinal cord, okay, which control most body movements and thinking. The drugs act on the brain and can change a person's mood, thought process, or behavior. Okay, so this is what message we need to tell them. Now next part is the teacher explained the psychotic drugs can be sorted into three main categories according to the primary effect that the drug has on the central nervous system. Okay, so teacher gives emphasis that it's not the types of drugs, that is alcohol, tobacco, etc. examine, but categories. Or the teacher gives emphasis that it's not the types of drugs, okay, examine, but categories of drugs. So these are not type of drugs like alcohol or no, but the categories of the drugs, those are different. Okay, the teacher writes on the board the following three main categories of psychotic drugs. Okay, first one, that is depressants, second one is stimulants, and third one is hallucinogen. Hallucinogens. I always, every time I'm unable to pronounce on that. I'm sorry about that. Yes. So how do you pronounce it? Yes, hallucinogens. Hallucinogens. Okay. Okay. So depressants slow. What do depressants do? So depressants slow down the activity of the brain. Stimulants increase the activity of the brain, and hallucinations see, hear, and smell things. Okay, that's what happens. So next part is like here the chart is given. Okay, we can have this printed chart with you, so you will be able to understand that. So it is just a theory part, like what depressants are doing. So like drugs that slow down the activity of the brain and decrease alertness. For example, your speech can get slurred. You can lose balance as you walk. Some depressants are, for example, alcohol, heroin, cannabis, or any analgesic that is legal that relieves pain or discomfort like combiflam. Okay, so these are some of the types which you can tell them as well. Stimulants, drugs that have the opposite effect to depressants by increasing the activity of the brain. For example, caffeine, okay, found in coffee, tea, cola, or energy drinks. Those are legal ones, okay, and nicotine found in tobacco, that is also legal, and cocaine, that is illegal, okay. So hallucinogens, you can see like drugs cause the user to see, hear, and smell things in a strange way, okay. In large, does this can be cannabis in large, like what is this cannabis, what we call it cannabis, we can see like once we go ahead, you will come to know about that, okay. So this is what you need to explain in this chart. What are the types, what are the examples of those, you can give those, okay. Teacher will explain about the names of drugs later in the class, okay. That will, as we move ahead, you will come to know. Second session, that is licit drugs and illicit drugs. Teacher reads aloud the difference between licit and illicit drugs. Okay, this you need to do with your paper in your hand. So nothing to worry about that. So what is illicit drugs? Licit drugs are legal for people of certain age, for people with relevant medical prescription. Okay, so either those can be like relevant, legal for certain age, or on prescription you can get those. For example, alcohol, tobacco, caffeine, or prescription, non-prescription drugs, for example, Combiflam, paracetamol for pain relief, and bought without prescriptions also. A cough mixture are all considered licit drugs. Okay, so these are what is the licit drugs. Next, teacher reads aloud the following message like licit medicine used for treating a health condition like cough, back pain, dental pain, etc. Ideally should be purchased and used on the advice of the doctor. Do not self-medicate. So you must highlight this. You should not self-medicate. Has positive effects and but can have negative health consequences if misused without the advice or prescribed by a doctor. Licit medicines can be addictive as well. Okay. So alcohol and tobacco, alcohol can be harmful if misused, and tobacco is extremely harmful to the body. Both are used more for personal pleasure, and an individual does not need to go to the doctor for this. They are advertised and made to look glamorous and cool. However, children should be aware of their addictive nature and negative health consequences. So you are supposed to read this as it is. Okay? Clear, everyone? Okay. So what is licit drugs? Rather than what is illicit drugs rather than licit that drug? Okay. So illicit drugs are illegal under all circumstances. Because of this, their use is classified officially in India as a crime that can be associated with punishment such as fine or detention or both. Okay. Drugs classified as illicit, for example, include cannabis, heroin, and cocaine. The teacher requests that the students name all licit and illicit drugs that are most commonly used in their community using official terms and street slang. Teacher writes the list of all drugs identified into two columns, that is licit and illicit, on the board. It is important for teacher to place a question mark next to any identified drugs named by students when they are known to be clearly wrong. If, for example, students state alcohol as illicit, it is important to explain that alcohol may not be culturally accepted for religious reasons in some communities, but in India, alcohol is not classified as illicit substance and it is not against the law. However, in some states of India, alcohol can be illegal, but in other states, it is legal. Okay, so you all know about all those things. Okay, so now what you need to do is that you need to ask them. So all drugs have the potential to cause the harm. Now you will be reading this line because this is the most important and the most you need to focus while you are delivering this. You need to ensure that everyone is properly listening, attentive, and you are making an impact on this. Okay. So many people think that prescribed medicines or over-the-counter drugs bought at pharmacy are always safe because they are legal or doctor has prescribed. This is false. Okay. So this is what we need to tell. Okay. So now let's go on to the video part. That is the practical. Before that, I would just tell you, like, let me know what, yes, how many of you know about Like, how many of your states it is banned, like legal? Anyone from the banned states where the alcohol is banned? I think it is banned in Bihar. I think it is banned in Gujarat as well. Yes, Lipika. Yes, okay. So then you need to ensure that you are telling this it is illegal in your state. Okay. Yes, correct. Okay. So understood. Let's go on for the visual. Okay. Just give me a second.
What are drugs?
Cure for medical purposes.
If it's an unhealthy habit, it's going to be handling and understanding emotion.
And what is peer pressure? What violence actually means?
Violence is meant to bully someone.
Navchetna, a new consciousness on life skills and drug education for school children. Objectives. By the end of the session, students will be able to understand what are drugs, difference between licit and illicit drugs, and be aware of three main categories of psychoactive drugs. To have a general understanding about alcohol and short and long-term effect. To have a general understanding about tobacco and short and long-term effects. To have a general understanding about volatile substances, inhalants and short and long-term effects.
Good morning. Please be seated. So as you are aware, the session that we have today, this morning, is on the basics of drugs, part 1. So I'll begin the session, and as I begin the session, we will be asking a lot of questions from you, and you will be having to respond. And whoever I will request, that person will be responding to the questions. Is that okay? Yes, sir. All right. So we'll begin by asking, what is a drug? What is your understanding of a drug?
Actually, drug is a harmful substance which affect our body also, and it is a chemical substance which we use to take. Actually, the sport players used to take it because they want to increase their level. They think that if they use that, then their level will increase.
And if they use it, they think, what do they think?
They think that their level, their stress, they will be strong in their when they play. At
Okay,
that time,
so
they will
be
strong.
strong.
Yeah.
All right.
It can be a cure for medical purposes. And
It can be used for
a cure in medical purposes and many medical purposes.
Cure for a lot of diseases.
And it has many negative impacts also. Like it can be addictive.
And can be addictive also.
It is the negative impact.
So a drug, this is as per WHO, World Health Organization. As per the World Health Organization definition of a drug is any substance except food and water, which when taken into our body, the way the body works changes. And it changes our mood or the process of thinking. All right? Yes. This is based on the definition of WHO. Now, having said so, please tell me, where is our brain? You can tab it yourself or the friend next to you. Where is our brain? Brain. This is our brain. Okay? And where is our spinal cord? Where? In the back, in the middle is our spinal cord. Okay? All right. So this is what you call central nervous system. So the central nervous system comprises of our brain and our spinal cord, which is in the back, in the middle of our back. So now as we proceed, we are going to discuss about what are psychoactive drugs. So when we say what are psychoactive drugs affect a person's central nervous system, which I just shared with you, our brain and spinal cord, which controls most of our body movements. Whatever movements we are making, even expressions that we are making, they are controlled by our central nervous system comprising of our brain and the spinal cord. And thinking, the drugs act on the brain and can change a person's mood, thought processes, or the behavior, our actions. So psychoactive drugs have three main categories. So what are the three main categories of psychoactive drugs? Depressants. This slows down the activity of our brain. Stimulant. It increases the activity of our brain, makes us more alert. Hallucinogens. What hallucinogens do? What they do is they make us get into an imaginative situation where we start seeing, hearing, and smell things which actually do not exist. So it is taking us to a different world which actually does not exist. Okay, that's why we call them hallucinogens. These are the three main categories of psychoactive drugs. So we'll get into more detail. So we'll first discuss what are depressants. So drugs that slow down the activity of our brain and decreases the alertness. We are less alert. Example could be you could lose the balance as you walk. You may not be able to even walk properly. Some depressants are, for example, alcohol, which is legal. So when I say it's legal for a particular age group. Am I right? Yeah, so it is legal for a particular age group, not for everybody. But yes, it is legal and it's available. Then heroin, which is illegal. So it's a criminal activity on the part of whoever possesses it, will use it, deal with it, sell it. It's illegal to do so. So heroin is an illegal drug. It is a category of drug which is a depressant. One of them being legal, which is alcohol. One of them being illegal, which is heroin. Or any analgesic, which is a pain reliever. Like, what is the most common pain reliever which we would have? You have heard of Brufen? Or paracetamol? Crocin? Okay, these are the most common painkillers. So analgesic, legal, it's legal. It's it's available in a drugstore, in a chemist shop, in a pharmacy. It's legal to buy it and use it. Legal, that relieves pain or discomfort. A person might have a discomfort, person might have a problem. One of my friends in the back said that most of our drugs that we have, which are legal in particular, and they are very important for cure of any disease. So people may think the word depressant means depressed or sad, but it is about slowing down the brain activity. It's not a depressant. Okay? In depression, you're sad. That's a mental health condition. But when we say these drugs are depressants, we need to understand we are not referring to a mental health condition called depression. We are referring to a condition in which our brain, its activity slows down, overall alertness goes down, we may even fumble, we may not be able to even walk properly. That's what happens when we are under the influence of a depressant, including alcohol, legal, and a heroin, which is illegal, or other medicines which are for, like a painkiller, which is for some disease that we are dealing with for its cure. Now we will discuss about stimulants. Now stimulants again are drugs that have the opposite effect of depressants. So they make us more alert by increasing the activity of our brain. For example, caffeine, found in coffee, tea, cola. So who takes tea in this room other than me? Does anyone take tea? Oh, little bit, not much. So most of you do, but you don't. None of you take? Okay, all right. So I do take tea. So tea has what you call caffeine. Coffee has caffeine. And all the cola drinks, Coca-Cola and Thumbs Up and Pepsi and Slice and Red Bull. All right, all right. So they all have caffeine. Then there is also a stimulant which is called nicotine, which is found in tobacco. It's a legal drug found in tobacco. So, and the last one, this is, what am I discussing? As a depressant, as a stimulant. What are these? No, these are not different kinds of drugs or different types of drugs. What are they? Yes, these are 3 categories of psychoactive drugs. Okay? 3 categories of psychoactive drugs. Not the kinds of drugs, types of drugs. There are a lot of types of drugs with different names which may come in any of that category, but they are not types of drugs. We are talking about categories of psychoactive drugs. Last one, third one is hallucinogens. Yes, you have a question?
Nicotine is harmful?
Is harmful, yes. We'll
But
come
why
to
selling in the
nicotine, we'll
market?
discuss about nicotine.
But why selling in the market?
Why selling in the market? Because it's legal and it gets revenue to the state. All right, we'll come to that. We'll discuss a bit more when we come to tobacco. All right, hallucinogens, which is the third category of psychoactive drugs. Drugs cause the user to see, hear and smell things in a strange way. In large doses, this can be cannabis. In large doses, consumption or use of cannabis can lead to a hallucinating effect, which is a category of drug called hallucinogens. All right. Now, what we are going to discuss is licit and illicit drugs, legal and illegal drugs. So, based on what you know of, can you tell me briefly about what do you understand by licit legal drugs?
Alcohol,
Alcohol is a licit, it's a legal drug, yes.
tobacco,
Tobacco is a legal drug. All right. So let's discuss what are legal drugs, licit drugs. Legal drugs, licit drugs are drugs for people of a certain age. So only people of a certain age can use them, buy them, procure them, have them, okay, possess them. And for people with a relevant medical prescription, that's very important. So unless you have a prescription, you can't buy particular drug. In our part of the world, in India, in India, what you have is a Schedule H drug. For example, I'm just giving an example. So those in particular have to be under prescription. So prescription drugs, drugs which are given by a doctor, prescribed by a doctor for a particular condition, for a particular disease, maybe for some pain, maybe for some common cold or fever, and doctor has prescribed, you go to a chemist shop, you go to a drug shop, and you get the, or a pharmacy, and you get a particular drug. So these are legal drugs, but for a certain age. For example, alcohol is a legal drug, but it is illegal for a particular age, not for everybody and anybody. Tobacco also is legal for a particular age. Can you tell me what is the age? 18 above. So 18 above, a person can buy any tobacco product. Caffeine are prescription, not prescription drugs. For example, Combiflom, again it's a painkiller for pain relief, and our cough mixture. Sometimes people have cough, people have issues with, they have cough and they need some medication, so they may go to a doctor, seek the advice. A doctor will say, take a particular cough mixture. So they will get the prescription, they will go to a chemist shop, they will go to a drug shop, pharmacy, and get it. So this is what we call legal drugs. Most of the legal drugs that we have, which we need to understand, is which are available at a pharmacy or a chemist shop, are life-saving drugs. And for some people, these are the drugs which they may have to have for the rest of their life. For example, somebody who is having some chronic health issue such as
hypertension is the
hypertension
is the problem where a drug can be useful.
High blood pressure, yeah. High blood pressure, diabetes, okay, like insulin, you would need insulin in such case. So these are life-saving drugs under the prescription of a doctor, and they are critical and they are life-saving as well, and they are also part of same category, which is legal licit drug, including alcohol and tobacco. So legal drugs, licit drugs, use it for treating for a health condition like cough, back pain, dental pain. Ideally should be purchased and used on the advice of a doctor. Most of the licit drugs, legal drugs that we get from the chemist shop, pharmacy, has positive effects, but it can have negative consequences, but if it is misused, which means if it is not used as per the prescription of a doctor. We need to also have in our mind that licit drugs are addictive. Some of the licit drugs are addictive. What does that imply? That implies that we may get dependent on such drugs. We may get used to those drugs. Now, again, part of licit drug is what we discussed was alcohol and tobacco. We'll come back to that again. Alcohol can be harmful if misused, and tobacco is extremely harmful to the body. Both are used more for personal pleasure. It gives a personal pleasure to a person, whoever is using it. And an individual does not need to go to a doctor for these. You don't need a prescription from a doctor to buy tobacco or to buy alcohol. You don't need a prescription. They are advertised and made to look glamorous. Why? Because as we discussed during the earlier part of our discussion, that these are the drugs which are sold by the companies, promoted by the companies. All right? We'll come to the illicit drugs, illegal drugs. Illegal drugs are the drugs which are illegal under all circumstances. And because of this, their use is classified as, in India, is classified as a crime that can be associated with punishment, such as fine. A person can be fined, or person can be detained put inside a jail, or both. Person can be detained, put inside the jail, also will have to pay a certain fine as well, because it's a criminal offense to possess or use or deal with any kind of illicit, illegal drugs that we will just discuss in India. Now, drugs classified as illegal or illicit, for example, include cannabis, heroin, and cocaine. 3 kinds of drugs. What do you know based on whatever we discussed? Can you tell me few names of illegal drugs, illicit drugs, and few names of licit, legal drugs?
Alcohol is the legal drug which is
Alcohol. Okay.
Tobacco is also legal.
Tobacco is legal. Okay.
Heroin and cocaine is illegal. So some pain relief medicines like paracetamol is also
Okay.
illegal.
They are legal. Paracetamol or combiflam. All right.
Caffeines are legal.
Caffeine, such as
Coffee, tea.
coffee, tea, all colas.
Cannabis is also illegal.
Cannabis is illegal. Okay, anything else?
Maftol is legal.
Maftol. Okay. What is it? It's a painkiller. What is it? All right. So, in the discussion that we had about legal and illegal drugs, licit and illicit drugs, we also know of the particular drugs which are legal, which are illegal. What we also need to have in our mind and be aware of, all the drugs have the potential to cause harm to our body. All right. I am going to read out a statement and you're going to tell me this statement is true or this statement is false. And so you have to think before responding, but you have to listen carefully. All right. Always. Many people think that prescribed medicines or over-the-counter drugs bought at a pharmacy are always safe because they are legal or doctor has prescribed. True or false?
Sir, false.
False? Okay.
Yes. Just give me a second. Okay. So have you got a clarity? Yes, everyone? How that session needs to be progressed? Okay, we need to give emphasis on licit drug, illicit drugs, the definition of the drug, then licit and illicit, and the main part that all drugs have the potential to harm the body. That was the main part. And the last part, like all drugs, like we feel like the legal, all the licit drugs, like prescribed drugs, medical drugs, those are prescribed by the doctors, does not have the potential to harm. That means, it does not harm the body. So is it true or false? So that's how we conclude. Okay. So clear, everyone. So you can refer each and every manual. So that's not an issue. Okay. So next, that is third session, that is learning about alcohol. For alcohol in different parts. Now let me know, yes, everyone, what alcohol ko kya kya bolte hai? What is alcohol called in all your parts? Let me know. Yes. Yes, please. Alcohol ko what are the names those are there? Can you just please tell? Yeah, names are too difficult. Sharayam, Sharab, Daru, Lalpari, Daru, Kullu in Millennium. Okay, Sharab, Daru, Sarak. Okay, keep going. Khamba, Kallu, Madira, Tadi Madi. Okay. So we need to ask the children like this, okay? So they are also aware, and maybe some of them may come up with some different names. So this is for all drug activities, like for all the categories, we will be asking them what exactly is the name. Okay, so Patti Sarayam in Tamil. Okay, Pattai Sarayam in Tamil. Sorry if I am pronouncing wrong. Okay, Madhu. Okay, Madhu. Okay, Kalla Sarayam. Okay, that's good. Okay, so many names. I'm Sharai in Karnataka. Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead. So for alcohol in different parts of India, so this is basically for North India. Okay, you need to understand that these names are from North India. So in case like from many of us are from you people are from Tamil Nadu and even Karnataka. So you can have all these names and you can have it in your notebook, or you can just on this manual itself, you can put that names. Okay. So like for alcohol in different parts of India, like Daru, Sharab, Lalpari, Whiskey, Malta, Khamba, Santara, Gudki, Hawala. Okay. Jugni, Rasila, Pawa, wine. Names are numerous. Okay. So ask students, do they know any other names? Okay, so you will be telling all these names, and if they know any other names, so you will be asking like Santri bolte in Maharashtra, like Santri or something like that. That is also the name. Okay, so alcohol is so teacher reads aloud what is alcohol. Okay, so alcohol is an ingredient found in beer, wine, and spirits. Alcohol is found in the sugars of different foods. For example, wine is made from the sugar in grapes, beer from the sugar in malted barley, a type of grain. Vodka, as an example, is a spirit made from the sugar in potatoes or other plants. So alcohol is a depressant, that is, it slows down messages between brain and the body. Okay. Yes. So teacher asks students of most common way of taking alcohol. So how is alcohol taken? Yes, everyone. So mostly swallowed. Okay. So it is swallowed. So that's how we ask the students also. Okay. So next thing is like what are the short-term effects? Like some sort of immediate short-term effects we can say. Okay. So what are those? First thing is relaxation. You feel like little bit relaxed. You feel like happy, sad, depends on the mood. If the person is happy, he will feel happier. If the person is sad, he will feel more sad. Okay, so increase confidence. Alcohol acts as stimulant. Okay, I'll answer that. Teacher reads aloud other short-term effects of alcohol. Okay, so reduce coordination, trouble concentration, slurred speech. All these are. So here it is, your answer is here only. So these are the short-term effects. Like people feel like they have increased confidence. Okay, but actually it is not so. That is a short-term effect. So I believe that answers your question. Who has asked that question? Yes. Someone has asked that question, like why it is like acts as a stimulant. Okay, so it is just a short-term effect. Okay, so person may feel like that, like he is increased in confidence, he has got something, and he will just go and he feel like activated or something like that, but actually it is a not an activated drug. Okay, so teacher reads aloud of the other short-term effects like reduced coordination, trouble concentrating, slurred speech. Teacher highlights most short-term effects of alcohol. Okay, use like alcohol use are not positive. Teacher writes on the board some of the long-term effects also. So what are the some of the long-term effects? Like loss of memory or confusion, depression and sadness, then cancer or cancer of stomach, liver or mouth. Okay, so teacher tells about this some of the long-term effects also. Then teacher reads aloud like what are the effects of alcohol, like you can find like or in terms of like other long-term effects in terms of their social life. Okay, so money, the people may lose on the money, they may lose on their job, they may lose on their business. Okay, so work is affected, family is affected, there are lots of social problems, people avoid them, and those sorts of things. So we need to tell them, like when we are discussing, it should be like an interactive. I'm reading it, but it is always interactive. I'm believing that I'm like I should we need to adhere to the timeline. That is the reason I'm not making it interactive, or I can make it like interactive. But the reason why I'm just reading out is that we can just, because once I read out, you through the video you get understand everything. Okay, so great risk of lung infections and heart disease. These are some of the long-term effect. Difficulty of reproducing, inability to have children. Okay, weight gain and muscle weakness. So these are some of those. And teacher reads aloud other negative effects of alcohol, like mixing with drugs, okay, such as prescribed medications, can be unpredictable and dangerous, sometimes leading to death as well. Okay, need to drink more to get some same effect, leading to drug dependency. Like it is not like once you get dependent on that, you want more. Okay, because you don't get the same kind of what is called it is called as kick, or the same effect. So he wants more. So alcohol use for those under 18 years can affect brain development when it is early stage. Younger a person is when drinking alcohol, the more likely they will continue to do so as they get older. So if you start at an younger age, it is most likely that you will continue it for a longer period. Drinking alcohol and driving can lead to injury or fatal accidents, and we have heard about that, lots of things, and we know that these things happen. Okay, second session, that is illicit and illicit. Teacher draws a rough outline of the human body on the board. Teacher asks the students to roughly highlight the parts of the body in which alcohol can damage your health, particularly heavy alcohol drinking over a time. Okay, so you draw a body diagram like this, or you have a printed on a paper, or just drawn on a paper, and you can put it there and just ask someone to come and just mark the where all it is affected. So you just ask them, because it is interactive. So let the student come and make a cross. Okay, it affects here, it affects here. Okay, so all those kinds of things. Next is for the teacher's reference, some of the following can be used as a guide. Okay, what are the parts of the body it affects? Okay, what are the damages that causes? So like brain, loss of memory, confusion, injury, liver, mouth, throat, lips, cancer. Okay, lungs, infections, great chance of tuberculosis. Okay, heart, high blood pressure, heart attack, weak pulse, sex organs like infertile. Okay, inability to produce children, liver, swelling and pain, hepatitis, inflation of the liver, that is then cirrhosis, that is liver not functioning properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and see the video on the same.
Now we are going to discuss about alcohol. So these are some common names of alcohol and its products in northern part of the country, in North India, in our region, where we are right now in Delhi, in northern region. We call it daru, sharab, lal pari, whiskey, Malta, Kham, Santra, Gudki, Havaldar, Jugni, Rasila, Pawa, wine. There are many names. So, is there any name in your part of the world, in your area, which I have missed? Any name that you also know about alcohol?
Sir, jam.
Jam. Jam. Okay. 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 Madira. 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 Okay. Any other name? So what is alcohol? Alcohol is an ingredient food in beer, wine and spirits. It's alcohol which is available, which is part of content of found in beer, wine and spirits. Alcohol is found in the sugars of different foods. For example, wine is made from sugar in grapes. Beer is made from the sugar in malta barley, a type of grain. Vodka, as an example, is a spirit made from the sugar in potatoes and other plants. Alcohol is a which category of psychoactive drug? No, it's a
Stimulant.
No, it's a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant. Alcohol is one of the licit, legal psychoactive drug, and it's a depressant. It slows down the messaging between brain and our body. So what is the most common way of having alcohol is swallowing, the way we take water, drinking. Orally we take it in our mouth. Now alcohol, it's a liquid and it comes in range of colors. It can be blue, it can be colorless also like water, it could be red, so it comes in different colors. So there are short-term effects, immediate effects, relaxation, then happy or sad, depends on the mood, increased confidence, then again short term, reduced coordination, then trouble in concentrating on anything, and slurred speech, not being able to speak properly, slurred speech. Long term, loss of memory, confusion, depression, sadness, cancers in stomach, liver and mouth. Other long term effects are that you lose your money, you may lose your job, because if you do not go to your office, obviously, and if you go under the influence of alcohol to your office, obviously you might lose your job. You will be having the trouble in your family, your immediate family, your spouse, or your parents, your children might be uncomfortable, there will be issues in the family. There will be some social issues, social problems might be there with your immediate neighbors or your immediate family. There is a greater risk of lung infection and heart diseases. There is a difficulty in reproduction as well. So the person may not have the ability to produce children. There is weight gain and muscle weakness. Muscles become weak. Other negative effects of alcohol are mixing with other drugs. Mixing alcohol with other drugs, such as prescription drugs, prescribed drugs, can be unpredictable. We don't know what may happen, and can be dangerous sometimes, which may lead to death. Need to drink more to get same effect, which leads to drug dependence. Alcohol use for those under 18 can affect their brain development. The development of brain will be affected. Younger a person is when drinking alcohol, the more likely they will become, or they will continue to do so as they get older. Drinking alcohol and driving can lead to injury or fatal accident. The person can even die. So anybody can volunteer. We have drawn this body, human body. What you have to highlight are the parts of body in which alcohol can damage your health. Particularly heavy alcohol drinking in the long run. What will be the effects? Which body parts will be affected due to long-term use of alcohol? So a volunteer from you will have to come and help us find those body parts in that image of a human being. All right? Anybody can come? Yeah, please come. Please highlight the body parts which will be affected due to long-term alcohol use with the help of that chalk. Liver, okay. Anybody else would like to come? She spoke of liver. Anything else? You can name the organ and just indicate it. You don't have to write it.
First of all, it's brain itself.
Brain. You don't have to write it, no problem.
Okay.
Just brain.
And arteries and veins.
Which other part can be affected?
Mouth can be.
Mouth, yes.
Yeah, mouth can be affected.
Mouth. Cancer of mouth, we said.
Yes, and
Throat, mouth, both. Okay.
yes, throat and mouth, and
Yes. Fine. Good. What else?
the standing ability. And,
Standing ability.
yeah.
Okay. So legs, you mean?
Yeah. And
All right.
eyes can be
Eyes.
the part.
Fine. Just
Basically,
indicate
whole the body.
whole body. All right. All right. Please. Thank you. So, as he said, brain. So memory loss. Also, we spoke of memory loss and depression. We spoke of so both the things. Again, brain will get engaged. Premature aging. So it will show on your face wrinkles. Then cancer of, he also mentioned cancer of mouth and the throat. Heart trouble, somewhere here, heart trouble, heart disease. Risk of pneumonia because it affects our lungs. Then stomach problems, somewhere here is our stomach problems. Liver, you spoke of liver will be damaged. Then you will, trembling hands, it will affect our hands, trembling hands. Ulcers in the stomach, again referring to stomach, ulcer in the stomach. Falls, again you spoke of the legs, fall because lack of coordination. Painful nerves, he spoke of the nerves get engaged, so painful nerves. In men, we spoke of impotency. We spoke of the not having the ability to produce. Impaired sexual performance in men. Inflammation of the pancreas, which are somewhere here. Pancreas will get affected. So, as you rightly pointed out, it's almost the entire body which will get affected due to long-term alcohol use. You must have noticed the short-term effects of alcohol also are not that positive. And when we say so, talking about depression, cancer in some of our body parts, including mouth, stomach, these are not something which are positive effects. Trouble concentrating, your students, you're studying, so concentration, trouble in concentrating, trouble in even studying, being able to study properly. So these are not positive effects if someone is having alcohol. Second, despite whatever we have discussed in terms of the short-term and long-term effects, this drug is legal. This drug, alcohol, is a legal drug. We discussed about alcohol. We'll be now learning about another drug, which is tobacco. Tobacco again has different names. I'm referring to the names which are commonly used in northern part of the country. We call it bidi, tambaku. We call it zarda. We call it cigarette, kheni, hookah, yangu, gutka, chenni, kuber, chilam, kulip, udta panchi, patta, tali, sundar, ragda, sonpatti, pila patti. Any other names that you can think of for tobacco?
Sir, Rajnigandha.
विमल पान मसाला अमला पसंद
जुबा केसरी. Sir, Shikhar.
Shikhar, you are all absolutely right. Tobacco, how it looks like. It looks like these are dried yellow-brown and curly leaves. So what is tobacco? We are referring to the leaves. The leaves in tobacco plant contain nicotine. This is the main drug found in tobacco that is most easy to become dependent on. It's highly addictive, due to which we get dependent on them. Tar, it also contains tar, which causes cancer and stains in our teeth. Our teeth may become yellow. And it may also make our fingers look yellowish. And tobacco has carbon monoxide, gas that comes from a lit cigarette and can cause heart to suddenly stop. Tobacco is which category of psychoactive drug?
Sir, stimulants.
It's a stimulant. It speeds up the message between our brain and the body. So the most common way of having tobacco is
Mouth.
mouth. So we chew them, you have them orally, or we smoke if it's a cigarette, it's smoked. Even BD is smoked, or it can be sniffed. Short-term effects. It's a stimulant, so you are more alert, relaxed, bad breath, weaker sense of smell and taste. There are other short-term effects which are dizziness and faster heartbeat and increased blood pressure. Reduced appetite, people may not feel hungry anymore. Again, some long-term effects, it's shortness of breath, coughing, and again various cancers such as throat, lung, stomach, and bladder. These are the other long-term effects. There are more long-term effects. Facial wrinkles, you may look older. Yellow and rotting teeth, yellowish teeth. Needing more to get same effect. Every time you have tobacco, next time you need more to get that effect. So the increase in use of tobacco. Mood swings, happy, or maybe angry, or even sad. Regular cold and flu, and sometimes heart may stop functioning. So as you may have heard from the consequences of long-term consequences of tobacco, tobacco can reduce many years of our life. Long-term use of tobacco can reduce many years of our life. For the years of being alive, as long as we are alive, many years can be spent suffering from various serious illnesses that could have been prevented had we not used tobacco. Nicotine is the drug in tobacco which causes high dependency. It's a highly toxic chemical, and once inhaled, smoked, affects the body very quickly. Within seconds, nicotine reaches the brain. Passive or second-hand smoking of tobacco occurs when a non-smoker of a tobacco involuntarily breathes in smoke from other person's cigarette, e-cigarettes, cigars, or even pipes. Passive smoking can occur when you are in a same room, house, or car, or a public place as smoking of tobacco, as the one who is smoker of a tobacco. The smoke of tobacco contains toxic substances that can damage the health of anyone who breathes it in. So now there is a 5-minute activity. You just need to write the response in your pad. I am going to read out a question. You are only going to write the response in your pad. And the response can be yes or no. Does anyone in your family use tobacco? Yes, no. Just write it. Second question. Do any of your friends use tobacco? Yes or no. Are you often in places where other people use tobacco? Fourth, do you believe that if your friends use tobacco, you will do the same? Yes, no. Last question. Are there times when you feel that others would like you to use tobacco? So, a piece of information, if most of you have responded as a no to your questions that I just asked, you are at a low risk of using tobacco. If you have responded as yes to most of the questions, you are vulnerable to experimenting with tobacco. Most people who use tobacco never actually intended to do so. They never intended to be dependent on tobacco. Tobacco users usually start by just giving it a try. They just try it. But because nicotine is highly addictive, they quickly become dependent on tobacco. Making a firm commitment not to use tobacco is a protection against future use. We have to make a commitment to ourselves. We will not use it for our own health, for our own good, so that we do not use it in future. The more someone is surrounded by tobacco users, the more likely they are to try using tobacco themselves. Drug dependence. Being dependent on a drug, which may be alcohol or tobacco. Drug dependence is when a person needs to take a particular substance consistently and routinely. It becomes part of routine in order to feel normal. In order to feel normal, someone needs the particular substance consistently as a routine, with day in and day out of living. If a person stops or reduces taking the drug, they start experiencing a range of uncomfortable withdrawal symptoms that are physical, such as stomach cramps, sweating, and feeling sick within. And it could be psychological, such as being nervous, angry, lack of concentration, not being able to concentrate. Withdrawal symptoms are commonly relieved by resuming the use of a particular drug, substance. This is a condition which is what we call drug dependence. If as a student, this is something, a message to all the students here, if as a student you are going to experiment with tobacco, it is worth knowing about and being aware of the short and long term effects of smoking decision. The short term and long term effects that we just spoke of, it is very important to have all these short term and long term effects in our mind, if at all ever any one of us would be going to experiment with tobacco. We must know it. The younger a person starts using tobacco, the more likely they are to become a lifelong regular user of a drug called tobacco.
Okay, just. Okay, so basically, am I audible? Yes. Okay. So you must have seen, like, whenever we are reading, we need to ensure that it is in an interactive and an informative way. Okay. So like I have been reading all throughout, like it was like normal reading. Okay. But you need to ensure, like when we are in conducting those sessions, we need to be informing in such a way that we are interacting with the students. Okay. So that is one of the main point I do. Another thing in tobacco, what you need to ensure, two things which I have, I feel particularly here, is that one is like people think like even students, okay, and they are very much aware of the e-cigarettes. That is, it has different names, waves, okay, many names, you can ask them. Okay, so mostly you will find this in metropolitan cities. Okay, vapes are very common and they feel that those are safe, so you need to mention that also, and you can say that that is also part of this. Okay, so it can affect, it has the same short-term effect and long-term effect. Even hookahs, okay, so which are not mentioned because mostly they have a craze because it is an attraction. Okay, so even that you need to mention when you're covering this tobacco topic. Understood, everyone? Yes. All, everyone? Okay, so tobacco, now we are going to the theory part. The reason behind that, I didn't want it to disturb the video. That is the reason I uh, let it continue only because the flow was there. Okay, so this is the fourth topic that we have seen, that you have already seen the video. So now that is learning about tobacco. So you will be reading out like what exactly you will describing, what exactly tobacco, in what forms, what are the names and all. Okay, so you'll be going ahead with that. Then you will be reading out on the short-term effects, which we already talked about, and the long-term effects, the negative aspects. Okay, reduce many years of life and all those things you have already seen. Okay, so these are the short-term effects and long-term effects. And then this is the most important part. Okay, so you will be asking these questions, and these questions are like, does anyone in your family use tobacco? Do any one of your friend use tobacco? Are you often in the places where people use tobacco? Do you believe that if your friends use tobacco, you will do the same? Okay, are there times when you feel that others would like you to use tobacco? So if the answer is yes, then you are more vulnerable. That's what we need to mention and tell them. Okay, in case the answer is no, then there is less likely that they can be users of tobacco. Okay, so this is what we need to explain, and you can go ahead and you can read all those live, the notes are there. Okay, so you can just go ahead with those notes. Then again here also, like dependency. What is dependency? Drug dependency, that is mentioned, the definition is given. Okay, teachers read rule allowed the below messages. If as a student you are going to experiment with tobacco, it is worth knowing about being aware of the short term as well as the long term effects of tobacco. Okay, tobacco use decisions. So the younger a person starts using tobacco, the more likely they are to become a lifelong regular use of a tobacco. So fifth session, that is learning about volatile substances, inhalants. Okay, so note for the teacher, like volatile substances can be called as inhalants or solvents, such as paint, petrol, aerosols, sprays, cleaning fluid, gases, and glues fall under this category of depressant. Caution is required when including volatile substances as part of general drug education curriculum for school children due to the ease of access and the cheapness of such drugs that could lead to higher risks of experimentations. So caution is required when we are doing. You can just skip this session if you feel so, or you can continue with that. Okay. However, in circumstances where a group of students is particularly at risk from volatile substances, this you can include in particularly if you'll see what we have observed is wherein low income groups or those who are more not educated or they do not come to school or street childrens, you will find this mostly using this kinds of stuff. Okay, so in case if you are if you plan to take an session over there, you can 100% include this session over there. Okay, got my point? Everyone clear about this? Yes. Okay. Okay. So, however, in circumstances where a group of students is particularly at risk from volatile solvent use or more volatile substance use is widespread, which in some places is not uncommon. A specific classroom or group response may be appropriate to assist a teacher or counselor to better understand about volatile substances. In case school children are using this substance, please refer Annex 9 for further information. So you can refer that. Okay, you can discuss it with the school. You can discuss whether you need to include if there are people they have found like such kind of substances, because I went to a school in TMC and I found that the teacher had they in the bathroom they had seen that certain pouches are there, gutka pouches, even cigarette butts or something like that. Then teachers and these people know that these people are using, or so you can take accordingly the decision in case if they find that such kind of cases are there, the people using, or they are aware, they come to know from somewhere, then you can conclude this in the session. Okay, so teacher reads aloud on the volatile substances. Like volatile substances are divided into three key groups. Okay, solvents, aerosols, and gases. Okay, solvents are like glues, petrol, paint thinners, nail polish remover, paint removal. These are some of the examples. Okay, aerosols. So why why we should not include this session? The reason behind that is that maybe some children are already not aware about this, but I've gone through a session, so maybe I should go ahead. Can be a such kind of situation. So that is the reason you need to be sensitive about that, and you should, whether you should include this or not, that you should take the call on the depending on this discussion with the school administration. Okay, so aerosols like insect sprays, body room deodorant sprays, spray paints, gases like household or commercial products such as cigarette lighter, fuel, and so on. Okay, so teacher reads aloud some common names for volatile substances inhalants in different parts of India, like fluid, thinner, nail polish, solution, glue, tube, solvent, whitener, sniffer, sulochan, safeda, petrol, iodex. Okay, so name are numerous. So you will ask if the students know, or in case wherever you are taking the session, you can ask them what are the other names, or what are the local names in that. Okay, so the volatile, these we'll read about some of the short-term effects. The short-term effects are like loss of coordination, blurred vision, dizzy and slurred speech. Okay, teacher reads aloud short-term effects of volatile substances like vomiting, hallucinating, run. Okay, then teacher reads on the writes on the board on the about the long-term effects. What are the long-term effects? The long-term effects are nosebleeds, okay, memory loss, weakness. So these are some of the long-term effects. Okay, teacher reads aloud other long-term effects of volatile substances like poor attention span, weight loss, aggression, bloodshot eyes, and possible blindness as well. Okay, sores around mouth and nose, brain damage. So teacher informs students that sudden death from heart attack or person stops breathing through though rare, like persons sudden death from heart attack or person stops breathing is though rare, has sometimes happened due to use of volatile substances. So this is a major reason why it is best to avoid using or stop using this drug. Okay, so sixth session is the quiz on the drug. Okay, so like the background is like upon completion of all these three modules, the teacher will conduct a short drug quiz. So this was all about sixth standard till 8th standard. Okay, so now it is the time whenever you're conducting the session, if you have conducted all the three sessions, you are clubbed together, or in case you are giving one-on-one session, okay, like one standalone sessions, I mean. So in that case also you need to, if you're covering the drug part, then you need to go through this quiz. Okay. Teacher should provide a piece of paper, or the students takes a piece of paper from their notebook to undertake the drug quiz. The students do not write down the questions, but only the number, that is the question number of the question. Question number, they will be writing down. Okay, students write their answers on the piece of paper, but do not write their name on the piece of paper. So they will not write the name on the paper because we are not judging anyone. Okay, so we'll just making them, it is just about creating awareness whether they are aware or not, and that is what is required. Teacher reads aloud each quiz. It is important to ensure that each student understands the question before moving on to the next question. Okay, so what is the question number first? Okay, so let me know from all of you also. Like out of 3 categories of drugs, write down the name of anyone. I would ask you to write down the name of all the 3, please. Yes, please take the quiz because this is important, huh? Yes, write down the 3 categories of drugs. Everyone needs to answer this question. Yeah. So this is a quiz for you people as well. Okay. Okay, keep going. Okay. Okay. Good. All types of drugs are legal and illegal. That is, all types of drugs, whether legal or illegal, have the possibility of causing harm to a person. So, true or false, or do not know? Yes. All types of drug, whether true, okay, true. Very good. The younger a person starts using tobacco, the more likely they come to become they are to become a lifelong regular user of tobacco. Yes, true. What is the drug that makes people dependent on tobacco? Yes. What is the drug that makes people dependent on tobacco? Nicotine. Correct. Yes. Alcohol use for those under 18 years can affect brain development. True or false? Yes. True. Okay, so the teacher collects the pieces of paper from the student. Once this is completed, the teacher will verbally provide the correct answers. So ultimately, you will be providing them the correct answers. Okay, so this is how that is concluded. Now let's go ahead with the last video that is about these.
So we discussed about alcohol, we discussed about tobacco. Now we'll discuss about volatile substances. Volatile substances are inhalants, drug which is inhaled. Volatile substances are divided into 3 key groups. Solvents, which can be a glue, petrol, paint thinner, nail polish remover, paint removal. These are some of the examples. Then it can be, another group is aerosols. It can be insect sprays, body and room deodorants, spray, and even spray paints. It could be a gas, examples, household or commercial products such as cigarette, lighter, fuel. So as you have just heard, these are some of the volatile substances which are meant for a different use, which are made for petrol, for it's a fuel. And similarly, glues, these are for fixing the tires and so on. So they are not meant for human consumption. But these are volatile substances which are drugs that we are referring to. And they go by some names. The common names are in northern part of the country that we find. They are fluids, they are thinner, nail polish, solution, glue, tube solvents, whitener, Sniffer, Solution, Safeda, Patrol, Iodex. These are some of the names. Any name that I might have missed that you might be aware of?
Whitener.
Okay, all right.
Sir, Vicks.
Vicks. Okay. So the most common way of taking volatile substances is by inhalation. You inhale the fumes. Now, there are, again, like any other drug, there are some short-term effects. Loss of coordination, blurred vision, dizzy and slurred speech. Short-term effects, vomiting, hallucinating, which is to see, hear and smell something which actually does not exist. Running nose. Also some long-term effects, very negative, nose bleeding, memory loss and weakness. Long-term effects, poor attention span, not being able to concentrate, bloodshot eyes and possible blindness, weight loss, sores around mouth and nose because you are inhaling, aggression, it can damage the brain damage, sudden death from heart attack, or person may stop breathing, though it's rare, but it can happen, has sometimes happened due to use of volatile substances. This is a major reason why it is best to avoid using, or if we are using, stopping the use of volatile substances. So we are towards the end of this particular session, part 1 on the drugs. We have a small quiz towards the end of this session, part 1, and you will have to give a response and we have to collect that response. Please don't write your name. Please leave it blank in terms of your name. Please only write the response. So the first question. So there are 5 questions. First question. And we are talking about the categories of drugs. Categories of drugs. Out of 3 categories of drugs, write down the name of any one category of drug on your pad. On your pad. Question 1, response on your pad. Question 2. All types of drugs, legal and illegal, have the possibility of causing harm to a person. Now, you can say, is it true or it is false, or you do not know. Done? Okay, question 3. The younger a person starts using tobacco, the more likely they are to become a lifelong regular user of tobacco. Is it true or it is false, or you do not know? Question 4, response. What is the drug that makes people dependent on tobacco? Last question, 5th question. Done? Alcohol use for those under 18 years can affect brain development. True or false? Or you do not know? Alright, so I need a volunteer from you to collect all the responses. Done? Everybody has given us? Thank you. Alright, so now we'll just discuss what is the correct response. Alright, first question. 3 categories of drugs. Write down the name of any one. So it could be stimulant, it could be depressant, or it could be hallucinogens. Good. Any one of these 3. All types of drugs, legal and illegal, have the possibility of causing harm to a person. It is true. It is true. The younger a person starts using tobacco, the more likely they are to become a lifelong regular user of tobacco. It is also true. What is the drug that makes people dependent on tobacco? Nicotine. Alcohol used for those under 18 can affect their brain development. True. All right? All right. Thank you. So nice of you. Grateful. Thank you. That ends this session, part 1. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So how was the session? Like, yes, everyone got it? So how we need to conduct the sessions? Everyone got it? Yes? Great, great, good, good. Okay. So basically, what we need to understand is that whenever we are delivering on drug awareness, we need to ensure we need to follow this module only. And you have seen like almost every trainer, those who have made this, they are also referring that only. They are reading from it. Okay, because we do not need to add something, because we have human being have that, like we put it in our own words. That is the reason we need to follow this module as it is. Okay, so we do not need to go into all the put in our ideas or stories or something else, because that can have a very different impact on them. That is the reason we need to keep it handy only. So there is no presentation, only books. So how many of you want presentation now? No presentation will be given. So no, nothing like that. Okay, so you are not going to get any presentation. The reason is very simple. We want you to take those handouts and then give the sessions. Okay, so that is it. And next important thing is that, like, we will be covering cannabis, opioids, and all this, because that is for the from 9th standard till junior college. Okay, so those will be covered in those drug. That is the part 2 session. Okay, understood? Clear, everyone? Yes. So tomorrow we are going to have one session. Okay, and on 7th we are not going to have any session. So just let me know, like, whether on Sunday we should have the session or not. Okay, so I believe we should have the session, and we should finish, in fact, like two sessions, okay, of life skills are there. Yes, so we can have it like what time is okay? We can start early. Yes, Sunday. Okay, everyone is saying okay. Noon. Okay, what time exactly? You, all of you, want me to take Sunday? Okay, 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 I understood. Sunday we'll do it. Okay, 2 p.m., 4 p.m. 4 p.m. is okay, I believe, because it will be a longer session. We'll be covering 2 modules in that. Those are going to be life skill modules. Okay, let me tell you all, everyone. Okay, so those are going to be life skill modules. So tomorrow we will be taking one life skill module and another, because these are really very important. I am telling you, everyone should attain this. The reason, those who are even like those who are going to do drug awareness also, they should attain. The reason behind that is that if you have like people, those who are into their ages, like from 14 years till 18 years, I think you should go ahead and just watch these sessions. Those are very important sessions. Yes, we were continuously having. Why I'm telling on Sunday, the reason is that because this is a continuous 7-day program. The only thing why we are not having day after tomorrow, that is on 7th, the reason is that because it is Ganpati festival. That is the reason. Okay, otherwise it is same. Okay, so Sunday 4 p.m. we will be meeting, everyone, please. Sunday 4 p.m. because we will be taking it till 7 p.m. probably, or 6:30 or something like that. Okay, 2.5 to 3 hour session. You can join from the mobile, okay? You can just join from the mobile, everyone. You can join from the mobile, not an issue. So you can just attend this session, listen to it, and whenever you get back, you can go, always have that handy book with you, so you can have that, okay? So Sunday is 4 p.m. Else all timings remain same, like 8 p.m. timings, okay? So only on Sunday we are going to have that session, okay? So I believe that is going to be a bigger session, so be prepared for that bigger session. And also I would request you all to be present over there, because that is a very important session, because it covers actually anger management. It gives about anger management, it speak about violence, okay, amongst the students at that particular age, because there are so many changes happening in the body. So these are very common things, okay? So we should know about that. Okay, that's all from my side from this. Any questions? Yes, I can take few questions if anyone has any question. Yes. Yes, okay, no question. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Thank you. So tomorrow we'll be meeting at 8 o'clock. Thank you.